Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Mid Atlantic Championship Wrestling Review Series for the 11th of December 1982. Obviously, we're going to close out 1982 in the next little while here and move into 1983. We've got through 86 to do, so we'll be here a while. But we go with the odd team, at least to me, of newcomer Mark Fleming and Ron Richie versus Slaughter and Kernoodle. Slaughter and Kernoodle still your main deal here in the area as far as heel tag teams go. And Slaughter and Kernoodle again continue to brag about running Steamboat and Youngblood out of town. They continue to show the footage of knocking guys like Ron Richie and other people off, and the unified nature of the team itself is both intimidating and frustrating for fans of the Mid Atlantic area. And Fleming, a new guy in the area. Mark Fleming, I believe, a second generation superstar. Ron Richie has been around the area for quite a while and manages to get a couple of quick arm drags and leg drops and other stuff off, and manages to get a um, into a front face lock, another basic sort of thing there. And Slaughter using his opponent's body as a gut wrench force. Slaughter has kind of gone away from the uh, Cobra Clutch as a main hold here. Arm bars by Slaughter and Kernoodle, and I believe Slaughter might have even been writing the program that leads to him and Kernoodle against Steamboat and Youngblood as much as it was. And of course, they do a heck of a battle for several months leading into Starrcade 83 in November. So, I mean, almost a year's program. The almost modified backbreaker Doomsday device by the team of Slaughter and Kernoodle gets them a victory here. We move to Ken Timms, and he is facing off against none other than a very aggressive, because it goes for pin right away, Bob Orton Jr. And Orton Jr. obviously a very good wrestler. He stays in the ring. Orton Jr. a baby face, and whether it's knee lifts, punches, kicks, or takedowns with suplexes, Orton Jr. in control early and uses a collegiate style to try and get as much ride time and basic stuff as he possibly can. Front face locks by Orton, and Orton gets some ride time, eventually hits the superplex, which, by the way, is a finisher here in 1982 instead of a transitional spot that's wasted by talent who don't need to take that many bumps nearly enough, as it were. Jack Briscoe is out and talking about wanting more combat as the weeks and months go by. Orton is out and also talking about wanting to get in there with Flair and Valentine and other heels. Orton continues to be kind of the last cowboy sort of feel, as it were, and that manages to be a pretty major deal as it ends up being. We go to the next in series of matches, which happens to be a Jack Briscoe match here. Briscoe versus Rick Connor, and we've seen that before. Briscoe takes his man down, side headlocks and basic maneuvers. Briscoe stays in control of the match throughout. Briscoe multi-time Mid-Atlantic champion, actually Jerry Briscoe here, and kind of staying on the leg and dropping on the leg, and manages to kind of crimp up on the ankle before locking in the figure four and getting the victory. Local area promos with the one that is pretty impressive. We got a three-man trio as Jimmy Valiant, Bob Orton Jr., and Mike Rotundo all managing to do babyface promos talking about the heels that are coming to town and their desire to get rid of those heels once and for all. And I don't know, just seems rather non-sequential. Um, Jack Briscoe back as your Mid Atlantic champion, holding on to the championship as the big belt in the Mid Atlantic area. Of course, not your world championship like Ric Flair. Uh, Orton backing up his adversary here, and again, kind of moving around pretty simply. Paul Jones is up next and has a match there with Mr. Hall. I don't remember catching his first name. I think it's Dan Hall, something like that. But anyway, Jones, former champion, former Mid Atlantic champion, not happy with that. Taking Hall to the top rope, and it is not, by the way, Scott Hall. Scott Hall doesn't come in until 1984 in, I believe, Central States area. But anyhow, snaps him over, basic maneuvers, and Hall does get a little bit of offense, but obviously, Paul Jones, the guy who's been around for years, actually probably a decade plus at this point, managing to crimp up on the leg, almost trying to use some of the same holds that Jack Briscoe had earlier before. Ric Flair out there cuts an amazing promo, basically endorses Valentine as the big shot in the Mid Atlantic area, and Flair basically endorses him as the U.S. champion and a dependable friend. Roddy Piper basically says that he does the assume promo. If you've never seen the Roddy Piper assume promo, ass out of you and me, that kind of thing. Pretty big thing. He also says he'll take a baseball bat to anybody, but people think he's insane. People think he's crazy. People think Roddy Piper's crazy. Who would have thunk it? Anyway, Greg Valentine and Ric Flair in a tag team match, which is a weird deal here. Mike Davis and Keith Larson. Flair and in an enhancement match here, Flair comes in, goes to work on Larson, hits the chops and all the things that you would expect Ric Flair to do. But what's interesting is Greg Valentine going right in there as the basically two most influential heels in the Mid-Atlantic area, maybe in the world at the time, because the world's eyes are on Mid-Atlantic in some ways. Anyway, kind of rolls through, and we kind of get a continuation of things. Flair comes in and tries to hang on. Valentine takes the majority of the match, and obviously because he's coming back to the territory next week, Flair comes in and will take cheap shots here and there. Flair, though, as your world champion in Mid-Atlantic more in 82 than he had been before. By 85, he's there with Jim Crockett Promotions almost exclusively, although he's still doing the traveling championship bit in 85, maybe converting in 86. But anyway, needless to say, Flair and Valentine get the victory. Valentine also endorses other Humperdinck managed individual in Paul Jones, among others, and they seem to be a happy unit. And we will close on that note. We'll be back with more right after this.